Hi, Homeworthy. My name is Joel Moore Hagan. Welcome to my home. Come on in.
This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Joel Moore Hagan, and I am a content creator. We are at my home in Augusta, Georgia. Our home is a 1955 ranch-style home, and what sold us on the home is that it's very light, it's very airy, it's very compartmentalized as 1955 homes were, but what sold us was that the rooms are very large in size, and there's a lot of closet space so we could store a lot of things. My husband did a complete 180 with his career. He worked in insurance and he switched to joining the military. He was gone for 6 months and I was traveling and I ended up living in London, and he was set to return back in New York. So I was like, oh my gosh, we have to find a home, because in July we knew that we were going to be set in Augusta. So while I was in London, I found a realtor and her name was Lisa. She's the best. And we walked through these homes on FaceTime as if I was actually in these homes. And what I would do was I would record myself walking through these homes on FaceTime with Lisa, and then I would put them in a Google Drive, and then I would send them to my husband. And as soon as we walked through this house, I was like, this is the home. It just felt so warm, so open, so airy. It just felt like home. And you know when the home feels like home when you're walking through it, and you know exactly where you're gonna put what you're gonna do with the home. So I just knew it was gonna be our house. So I told Lisa, I said, wrap it up. This is our house. Let's do the paperwork. And then I came to the house, saw it for the first time, and I was like, we made the right decision. This is our home. We also found out that this house was only owned by one family. The gentleman who owned this house, we found him on Facebook, and we got to learn a little bit about his family, and we're now in contact with him. We've shown him everything that we've done with the house, updating it, and it's just cool to see that like our office was like his playroom, and like our bedroom was his mother's room. So I just love like the history of this 1955 house and how we're able to restore it and just bring some life back into it. Welcome to my foyer. So my favorite part about this room is above me. This is a honeycomb ceiling, and I think it's original to the house. But I will say my husband did his big one with this, because when we moved in, I wanted to get rid of it because it was white, it was crusty, it was dusty, and it was a little rusty. And I just couldn't see the vision. And my husband was like, no, we're gonna paint it. And I was like, I still couldn't see it. So we ended up taking this down, and I don't know if anybody has ever painted metal, but I had such a hard time painting this because the paint would just absorb to it. So I went through so many gallons of paint trying to get this to stick to this metal. And then on top of putting this back up, it was like a puzzle piece. We were like, what goes where? Like, what do we put where? It was just annoying, but I'm so happy that we kept this and just kept this piece back to the original part of the house, because it looks so good and it kind of feels like an art piece. And whenever someone walks into the house, they always comment on it. And then behind me is an art piece from my friend. Her name is Alex Peacher. She's based in New York. whenever I share this online, I always get questions, and I'm so happy to always share Alex Peacher. She is an amazing artist. She's done work for us in our house here, and I'll show you some other pieces. And she's also done some pieces for us at our apartment in Brooklyn. And I think it's really fun to have a portrait of me and my husband, but I wanted it to kind of be a little kooky and cartoony. So when you walk in, you're like, is that you and your husband? Is that not you and your husband? But it's just like a fun piece to have, and I love it. And then over here, when we first moved into the house, there was a big planter box here. I guess that was like a thing in the 50s. And it had a bunch of dirt in it. And then above here, there were lights shining down. So we were like, obviously, this is not the vibe. We have to get rid of this planter box. So we're digging out the dirt and we stumble upon a bunch of old news clippings. So I love that type of stuff. I love when I find old stuff in a house, and I just love old stuff in general. So we came across this news clipping from the 70s, and it's not funny, but it talks about this old sleepy town in Florida that has had some racial issues. I wanted to keep it here because it's funny to see that there was a planter box here and we ripped out these old newspapers. So it's kind of like a piece of the planter boxes still here. But yeah, I love this little area. Before the hurricane, we also had done a Italian plaster on the walls. And of course, after the hurricane, we got water damage on the walls. So I wanted to change everything out. So we went with this beautiful wallpaper from Backdrop. And over here, there's just like a couple antiques that I've gotten. This was also damaged that my husband put back together. And just some like little antiques that really just complete the space. We were affected by Hurricane Helene. It almost feels like it was yesterday, but it's almost been a year. In 2024, September, we were affected. 3 rooms were affected. It was our living room, our bedroom, and our dining room. And it was devastating, but we have had some pretty amazing outcomes throughout the hurricane that you'll see today within our home. But it took some time. It took us about 4 months to rehab our home. And I think it's sad to see because Augusta hasn't fully recovered, but we'll get back there for sure. So from the foyer, we can go into the living room. So now we are in our living room, and unfortunately, this was another room that was damaged by the hurricane. So the tree came through about here, and when a tree comes through your house, it's either you get skylights or you vault the ceilings. We opted with vaulting the ceilings, so that was a plus. But the living room is definitely a place that we love to hang out in, watch movies in. So this is a spot that we're in all the time. Over here are a few of my antiques. I love her. I named her Susan after Susan Delfino from Desperate Housewives, one of my husband's favorite shows. I don't know why. She kind of just looks like Susan Delfino to me. I don't know, but she's a vibe. Luckily, she survived the hurricane. And this is Gerald, another one of my antiques. I feel like I just name all of my antiques around the house. But we also love just like putting on our record player on a Sunday and just vibing around the house, or just we'll put the record player on, and on a Sunday, one of our chillest days, we'll just clean the house. And over here, this is another one of our discoveries. during the hurricane. So, like I said, we had a lot of water damage within the walls. So, this was all wainscoting. And when we ripped this out, we realized that there was brick behind it. So, we were like, oh, cool, that's a fun feature. So, we just left it exposed. We cleaned it off a little bit. And I feel like with our Brooklyn background, we're like, it kind of brings this like New York industrial feel to it. So over here, we have our fireplace. And before the hurricane, well, when we first purchased the house, the fireplace was very small. It was just a little stone fireplace. And then during the first part of renovations before the hurricane, we built it out and it came to about right here. And then after the hurricane, when we vaulted the ceilings, we were like, oh, we need to raise the fireplace a little more because it kind of doesn't make sense for it to just stop right here with the vaulted ceilings. So we took it all the way up, and yeah, it just really kind of frames the living room and it kind of makes it look like it's all centered. It's almost like its own little centerpiece. And then another one of my favorite things is the frame TV. I have fooled so many people with this TV. People come in and think that this is a piece of art, and then I turn on the TV and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a TV." But yeah, I I love this fireplace. We spend a lot of times just around the fireplace. It's wood burning, which is one of the reasons that we bought this house. We always one of my one of my husband's things is like he will purposely turn down the temperature to burn wood. And I'm like, it's 85 degrees outside. Why are we burning a fire? But that's my husband. Over here, we are plant lovers. We have a bunch of plants, and this bench is, I couldn't find a long enough bench anywhere, so my husband actually made this bench to go underneath the window, and I stained it myself. But yeah, he's very crafty in that sense. But we love our plants, we love our plant babies. But over here, this is a funny story. So after the hurricane hit, we were like, we need to take our power back. So these are actually the branches from the tree that hit into our living room. So we just sprayed it down with hairspray. I heard it like kills the bugs and it also keeps the branches stiff so none of the leaves fall. So, you know, we won. So let me guide you into our dining room. I think my personal interior design style depends on where I am. So for instance, like our apartment in Brooklyn, it's in a very modern building. So I think our style is a little bit more modern. And here, since our house is from the 50s, I tend to have transitioned this into more of like a traditional homey kind of style. I brought in a lot of antiques from antique shops. So I think it just depends on the vibe of the house. I can just kind of switch it on and just be like, okay, well, this is more of a modern style home. This is more of a older style home. It just depends on where I am. My go-to design tip would be to do whatever you like because it's your home. So I think when you're designing a home, it's yours. So there are no rules when it comes to designing your home. I think if you want to paint the walls pink, paint the walls pink. It's your house. There's no rules when it comes to designing your home. And I think that people will say, oh, well, it won't sell for resale value. I don't believe in that. I think it's just if someone likes the home and you resell it and they're like, oh, the wall's pink, they'll just paint over it. So I think there are no rules when it comes to designing your home. There are no rules. Welcome to my dining room. So this is a new project that I'm working on actually. So before the hurricane, it was just one big arch. And then since the tree came through here, I was like, all right, let's change up the vibe. So these two sides are actually going to be a stained glass. And then this arch, I actually ordered these vintage doors from this site online called Dead People Stuff. I know it's a funny site, but it's called Dead People Stuff. And I got these doors, they're really cool, and I stained them to match the color of the beams. And I'm just going to have them installed and they're just gonna stay open. But I just wanted to switch it up and also not be reminded of what was before the hurricane. But I love our dining room. Another thing that changed was the wallpaper. Before it was a brown floral wallpaper, and now it is kind of this like jungly, outdoorsy wallpaper. I thought it would be fun to bring the outdoors in. And I love, one of my husband and I's favorite color is green. So it kind of brings that outdoor green vibe inside. I love this piece. So here in Augusta, it's no longer, but there used to be an anthropology outlet, and I found this at the anthropology outlet, and it's still online on Anthropology for full price, but I got it at the outlet for like 90% off. So I was like, score. It was the score of my lifetime, and it is so heavy. I think it was 90% off or something because it had a broken leg, but we fixed it. But I adore this piece so much. Over here, we have a little chair that my neighbor actually gave us. She was like, this will look so good in your home. And I just polished it up, and she was like, oh, it is a little broken. It's a little wicker chair, but the wicker's broken and you can fix it. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna fix it. I actually love that it's broken. It's more of a story to me. And I didn't really necessarily want to sit in it. I just wanted to have it just kind of as like a little piece to have in the corner. I mean, my cat sits on it all the time, but it's really sweet when neighbors do something like that and they think of you. So I just wanted it in our house. So this door over here, this is not original to the house. So before, this entire door was white, and it only opened from this way. So it opened about this much, and I was just like, that's not gonna fly with me. We can only open it this much and only go out this way. So I was talking to my contractor, giving a shout out to Chris from Edenfield Home Improvement. He helped us with the entirety of this house. But I was like, what is the price of like one of those accordion doors, where you watch these celebrity homes and they're in California and they have these accordion doors that open up all the way. And he gave me the price, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to sell a kidney to get that. It's not gonna happen. So I was like, let's get a door that will open up from the middle so we can kind of have this like indoor outdoor living. So we came up with this, and it's just great because we just open it up this way, and it has a little screen. And we actually love opening this up when it rains because we just hear the rainfall, and we'll have dinner here or a glass of wine. But this is one of my favorite things, and it took a little bit to install. It was a little tricky for the guys, but I love it. Over here is a little bit of where I mix my high and low. This is actually a mantle that I got off of Overstock for under, I want to say it was under $100. And it wasn't this color, but again, I stained it the same color as the beams. And it was just like, I feel like it looks like it was originally to this house. And then just added some birch wood. It's just like the little details that make this feel like it's always been here since the house is from the 50s. And then my husband is a huge fan of Fornasetti, so this is his Fornasetti collection and just little knickknacks around the mantle, but it's fun. But I'm gonna lead you into our kitchen. My career journey of becoming a content creator has been 10 plus years. I was a content creator before content creator was even a thing. I started off as a blogger. I had a blog. It was morehisstyle.com. Girl, this blog was so messy. It was me taking photos of my outfits on the streets, but it was also taking photos of messy nights in the club and recapping my nights. And it was me sharing my favorite, some of my playlists and music I was into, and just the New York vibes and my New York experiences. And then, of course, different platforms started to pop up like Instagram. And my first Instagram post that really took off was actually an outfit photo that my dad took in North Carolina. And I really saw some interest there. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I should just start taking outfit photos. And that's what I did. And that was when Instagram was completely different. So it really took off from there. And then I realized, well, this could be more of a story. So I started doing it, connecting my Instagram to my blog, and I would do full outfit photos and connect them to my blog and tell more of a story about where I was going, what I was doing for the day, what I was eating, and it just developed from there. Oh my gosh, what is my favorite space in the house is such a hard question because we have made this house such a home where I don't want to leave my house. But I would have to say probably our kitchen is my favorite room in our house, only because we spend a lot of time there. The kitchen, I think, is probably one of the biggest transformations that we've done in the house. We cook a lot, we have family over a lot, and we always end up in the kitchen. So I think that would be one of my favorite spots in the house. I say our because I would say my husband would say the same. Welcome to our kitchen. As I said, this is our favorite room in the house. It was a labor of love, but we kept the exact layout of the kitchen. So not much has changed really, but we have just really poured love into this kitchen. So what this looked like before was a hot mess. It was vinyl gray flooring, it was white old cabinets, and it's almost like a galley kitchen, so it felt super enclosed. So we were like, we gotta lighten this up. We gotta make it a little bit more functional and more airy. So imagine there was this huge stove here, and down here there was a microwave. So we never really used the microwave unless I was like cooking my cup of noodles. But it was like we would have to squat to use the microwave. So it was very, very awkward. And plus, the hallway is from here. So if you came down here, you were just like blocked by all of this light from the window. So my husband and I were like, let's like obviously knock that out. We wanted to do open shelving, but we wanted it to be functional open shelving. Obviously, we wanted to house a lot of the things that we love, like some of our antiques and artwork, but we wanted to put things up there that were functional as well. Like we have sugar, we have flour. I drink tea almost every single night. Oops, we have our champagne glasses. Over here, you'll notice, oop, I keep on getting hooked. Over here, you notice my husband's Golden Girl mugs that we use every single day. So we wanted our open shelving to be, cutesy but functional. And then we wanted to also highlight that with the lighting. And it's just, again, a labor of love, this kitchen. But we have all of our hardware is from Rejuvenation, and this is unlacquered brass. So when we first got it, it looked really shiny, but since it's unlacquered, the more you touch it, the more it's gonna really age and rust. And I also think that, again, goes back to that 1950s style. It's very like not rustic, but it's like aged and a little bit older, and it feels like it's always been here. So I love this hardware. Um, Over here, we have this ledge that we definitely wanted to include. There was always cabinets here, but we wanted to house some more things and kind of still make it functional as well, with also being cute. We have our salt and pepper shakers. We added some electrical to have some lighting. But yeah, we really love this kitchen, and it's definitely functional for us. Over here, I always knew that I wanted it to be a banquet area. When I first walked into this kitchen, I knew we wanted to utilize these windows, and every single morning we sit here and we have our coffee. So it's nice to just have your coffee, look out the window, and kind of like have a moment to yourself before you start a busy day. So we love our banquet area. I always get questions about this. It's kind of like our little fruit and vegetable, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's from a consignment shop, but it's functional. We use it every single day. We have our lemons, our Brussels sprouts, but I just love how I add some color to the space too. But no, it's a great piece. It's almost like a talking piece. Every time someone sees it, they're like, "Where did you get it?" And I'm like, "It's from a consignment shop. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you." Over here, we have a little bit of a hidden gem that I can't wait to show you. So, like I said, Alex has done a few pieces in our home. She did this art piece, and it is into our pantry. So before, there was a door here, and it swung out this way. As you can imagine, it's a very tight space. So a friend of mine, Rachel Martino, she also has this space in her home where it's a hallway and it houses her laundry, and she put a mirror on a slider so she can hide her stackable laundry machine. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. But instead of doing laundry, I was like, what if I did an art piece? So I reached out to Alex, and this was before our kitchen was even done. I gave her kind of like the color scheme, what we were going for. And she made this piece and she put it on a slider. And I was like, this is perfect. It hides everything back there. I mean, next time you guys come, I'll show you our pantry laundry room, but for now, it's a secret. But I love this. It kind of ties everything in. It's also a talking piece, but it's a vibe. Now let's go to my bedroom. Welcome to our bedroom. So again, this was one of the rooms that was affected by the hurricane. The tree came in about here. Luckily, we weren't home the night of the hurricane, but we had a different canopy bed. And when the tree came in, the canopy bed actually kind of protected the from the tree. But so we switched out the canopy bed. And I just really love our bedroom. It was kind of all bare. We added all of the moldings. Again, when in doubt, when a tree comes through your room, you either add skylights or you add vaulted ceilings. We went with vaulted ceilings. But beforehand, there weren't any beams in here. So we added the beams, which is a nice touch to match the living room. And it feels so light and airy and peaceful in our bedroom. Over here is the fireplace, which wasn't here before. It's just electric, and we wanted to match the one in the living room. So it kind of has that same design style. And what you'll notice in our room is that it's tricolored. So it's weird, but I think I saw it on Etsy, or not Etsy. I think I saw it on Pinterest, and it I was like, that's a really cool idea, a tricolored bedroom. So it's green, it's white, and it's cream. And the difference is on the ceiling, the green is on this side, and then we flipped it to on the fireplace. So the green is on this side. So I just love it. It kind of adds a little special touch to the bedroom. And this is like where we kind of hang out and debrief for the night. We'll just sit in these chairs and kind of talk about our day. We'll have like a glass of wine. Sometimes we'll sit here and watch TV, but it's a fun place to hang out in. Either we're in bed or we're sitting here. I just really love how much light this gets as well. Before the hurricane, we had a smaller window. So we also kind of opened this up. I would say the window came to about right here, and we just wanted more light. So we opened up the window to get some more light in here. But yeah, I love this room so much. I spend so much time in here. But I'm going to now take you to the bathroom. Welcome to our bathroom that has also gotten a complete transformation. When we moved in here, it was all old brown tile. There was also a window here where this mirror is that led to the front porch. So you could literally see when the mail lady was coming, and it was awkward. It was like I was getting out of the shower and I could see the mail lady. It was not good. So we closed that up. But we decided to tile every single wall in here. And again, our favorite color is green, so we went with green tile. I think one of the showstoppers, well, we have two showstoppers in this bathroom. People always love the Calcutta marble. It's such a great piece. I actually found it on Etsy. I think it's from a company called Meg Marble, and it wasn't that expensive actually, but it fits into the space so well. Again, Chris from Enfield Home Improvement, he did all of the cabinetry. It's all custom. I wanted this kind of like reeded cabinetry to kind of add some texture to play off of the tile, and he did a wonderful job. He killed it. And then another cool part about our bathroom, again, we have a lot of arches in the house that we did. So I wanted to play off of that with the shower door. So I drew out this shower door, and then I told Chris about the shower door that I wanted. I wanted this arched shower door. Drew it out. It was kind of janky. Then he drew it out, of course, with the proper measurements. And then we got this, and I just love it. It's really, really fun. I don't think I've ever seen an arched shower door before, but it's just a cool shower door. And over here is a really cool piece. So one One birthday, my husband got me the original New York Times 1992. It was my birthday year. So it was December 29th, 1992, New York Times. And I was like, oh my gosh, because he knows I love like vintage, like old things. So I just took one piece from the article and I framed it. And it's just this piece that has a bunch of old electronics in it. And it's just funny to see how much things cost in 1992. I mean, you have a camcorder that was $39. You have a VCR that was $2.99, and I just thought it was cool to frame. And it's my birthday year, December 29th, 1992. So it's just cool. But yeah, I love this bathroom. I spend a lot of time in here. Home means wherever is comfortable to you. And I think people think that home is just your home, but home to me is also like my parents' home. Home to me is, like my best friend's home where you can just go in and grab something out of the fridge. I think home is where you're comfortable. I know it sounds cheesy, but home is very much so where the heart is.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.